Welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama.
Hate it.
There you go. Today we have one piece of advice and one am I the asshole, but I'm seeing multiple things in here. Oh, wait, is that just the really long?
3 pages for the one and 2 pages for the other.
Yeah, the am I the asshole is just like a page and a half. The advice is 3 pages long because you guys hate me. Do not like me at all. So I've actually watched back the past 2 episodes. And I have to say, Mike with no sleep is just a different breed of guy. I understand so Dylan was, I wouldn't say, he wasn't put off. He was just worried about me giving advice for the cunnilingus.
Yep.
And then the mayonnaise dick thing. But everybody took it in stride.
Yeah, no, I don't think it really, I was just thinking, like, if there's anybody with a little bit of sensibilities, they're probably going to be like, man, but no, it was good, but it was definitely out on the outskirts of where we go.
I mean, I think, I like to think that there's a world where that helps somebody out, where they really practice that. Yeah, it's just, man, getting on a good sleeping schedule, you know how tough that is for me. I found like a sweet spot. I was taking melatonin, and I was like, man, this stuff is like the greatest stuff in the world. It was actually helping me fall asleep. And then I'd wake up the next day and I was like, well, I just feel hollow inside. The world is dark and there is just no hope. Cease me from existence, almighty savior. And then I looked it up and it was like, oh yeah, like if you're like, bipolar, ADHD, shit like that.
Oh, all the things you have.
Yeah, all the things that I have. They're like, you should not take this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I immediately, you remember me during that stretch, bro. It was just a terribly depressive thing. So now I'm off of it. I'm happy
I think those
again.
were some of the darkest times I've seen you. Like, I mean, and you've been through some stuff since we've been working together and hanging out, and I think the melatonin was literally like one of the darkest times.
Listen, I love me too much to check out. So I was just like, when I felt like that, I was like, man, something is going on. And I was like, so since this began, what has happened? And then I looked back and I looked at the melatonin and I was like, it's impossible because that has no side effects at all. And then you look it up and it does. And then I stopped taking it. So I'm back to Happy Mike. But Happy Mike gets no sleep. And then I get on this podcast, and I think I'm more rambly too.
Yeah, I think on your sleepiest days, the stories start expanding themselves without you ever letting everybody else know where we're going and what's going on. And it's just like, oh, we're going to get there. It's like 20 minutes later, we'll get there.
It's a roller coaster. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I did have, like I said, I'm pretty optimistic about my childhood and shit like that, but I didn't come out unscathed. I got some stuff up there that, I work on every day. It sucks. I want to feel like what normal people feel like. But honestly, I mean, now today's normal. Everybody just looks sad.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I get it. When I was a kid, when we were kids, it felt like the world was just so beautiful. Like even the colors looked, which I mean, I'm supposed to wear glasses. Maybe that could be the problem of it. But the colors were so more vibrant. Now it's just kind of like, I don't know if you ever seen Trolls. Lithy liked that when she was a kid. But when they go to the Goblinville or whatever the fuck it's called, and everything's black and white, that's kind of just like how it feels now. Everything.
Are you sure that it's not just adulthood?
It might be. When I was a kid, I understood bills and shit like that because my family wasn't paying them and we were getting kicked out of the house. I'm like, look, guys, you got to pay something. You got to think.
I'm 8 and I know that this red thing on here means we got to pay it.
Right. They're getting close to putting that sign on the door that every time they put that on there, we got to leave the house. I don't know what that sign says. Like, fucking leave or I'll kill you when you're a little kid. But yeah, we have 2 Am I the Assholes, bit of advice that we have to give out today. And I do have to say the advice is, if you're watching this and you submitted this advice, understand I'm going to give the advice out of love, but it is.
Well, he said at the end, don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, it's not going to be sugarcoated. And I do think there's a little bit of a wake-up call that is needed with that. Just going to forewarn before we actually get into that. But, I mean, there's what new has happened? I mean, we're still on the Apple Comedy podcast charts, which is dope, man, 184. Listen, and I think that too has played into me kind of just like doing a little bit of the character from then, because like you look at the podcast charts and we're surrounded by all these fucking celebrities, like people that are known.
Oh yeah, like big names. Like Steve Harvey is below us.
And it's just like it's me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why the fuck do we listen to these guys? It's just me and you. So I think a little bit of that, like I see that and I'm just like, oh man, I have to play it up big, when I don't think I have to do that. Because here's the cool thing about us and then a celebrity is that they have no like fucking real world experience or the real world.
Or at least they're detached from it.
They're very, very detached from it. So I think, I do hope we get to that point to where I get detached from it, where I'm just like, it's fucking Jesus Christ.
What are all these broke people complaining about?
Right.
World's great.
You gotta fucking pull up your bootstraps and strap up your boots and go boot the town and shit like that. And when I was working, companies were tough but fair, and they just forget. Like they forget they have money now, so everything bad doesn't seem as bad. They forget where they came from.
I think we're probably gonna be broke even when we get money, because we're gonna end up dumping it all into some other like movie or TV show, and we're just gonna be like, shit, we're broke again.
We're gonna do that one day. One day when we do that, I'm trying to think of like anything new developing. We're gonna be on the Joe Rogan podcast next week. I just gave him my social security number and a $5,000 deposit, and he said after 2,500 more, which I got to come up with that, he'll let us on the podcast.
Wait, didn't we go through this in episode 1 or 2? Like,
did I make that joke?
Yeah.
Fuck, I love making that joke though. It's so fucking funny.
I mean, it's true. Like there's so many scam. Like we just got hit with one for LaborLama where it's like your page is violating copyright, and it's like some random person with no profile picture, and then like they want you to go to this shorten.link, and it's like, nah, dog. Like,
and it's always from India or Nigeria, and you could just kind of tell from the
who's getting scammed by that. Like who is like
people are. I mean, it's working. It's working on some people. Definitely the older demographic that when we were kids would be like, you don't believe anything you see on the internet.
Don't send that email to that Nigerian prince.
As soon as they see it, they're just like, immediate belief. I believe everything.
I don't want to get my Facebook page taken down.
Right.
Like, what's the worst that's going to happen with that? Like,
the funniest thing was we had a friend's parent share a picture of this girl. She had like 2 slices of ham on her face. And it's like, this poor girl, share to show your respects. And she shared it. And they were like, that's ham on her face. Just like 2 slices of ham. I mean, I guess if you're older and your eyes are not as good, it looked like she had some kind of serious...
Oh, dude, I just thought of it. We need to figure out how to get those old people to share our podcast. If it's that easy, we just have to get the right link.
Oh, like, share if you love Jesus, guys. Share if you love. Don't share if you love the devil. Now, bro.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Most shared podcast. Apple Podcasts will be like, what is up? These guys are fucking. We need to start doing that, man. I remember back when Facebook was like new. That was all it was just like share if you love Jesus, and then. Now you see it and people are like, come on, I've shared like 16 of these today. I think something's up. I'm like, I don't know if you share or you show a love for, like, when you get to the pearly gates. I think that's the last thing he's going to bring.
How many shares did you have on your Facebook?
Right. He's
on Tuesday, May 5th, you only shared 16.
Right.
20 came across your feed.
He's just going to be sitting there like, all right, so the bad things you did, all right, you started a movement which resulted in the death of 16 people. You stole 4 cars, murdered your grandma the same night. Then in prison, you killed 4 people. Now, normally, I wouldn't let you in. But right here, not only did you share me from Facebook, but you also shared me from Instagram, and fucking nobody does that. Like, you took a screenshot and then reposted it on your page. Welcome to the pearly gates, bud.
Yep, that's the ticket right there.
All right, well, I guess we're going to get into the first Am I the Asshole?
Well, there's only one Am I the Asshole, and then there's one advice.
Right, it's the first thing I got to read. They are both pretty long. The advice one's going to take me a minute to get through. But I mean, the last time I was surprised at how well I did get through that, especially with no sleep.
Oh, no, you did great on the reading of it. I say we go with the advice first and then the asshole.
I think I like the asshole and then advice. Because then we're kind of like ended it on there. And also after we give the advice, because once we give it the advice, we take. But
I think we're going to end on a high note with the Am I the Asshole? It'll be funny. It'll like wrap it up, be a nice
You know what, guys?
punchline.
You know what, guys? Chime in on what the fuck you want to hear first, because I be telling y'all to chime in a lot. Nobody be chiming in, man. I don't know. It says like we got like a lot of listeners, and then I'll be like, hey guys, like comment what you like, comment what you don't like, and everybody's just like, I ain't fucking doing shit, fat boy. I'll listen to you. You're all right to listen to. I ain't commenting.
I don't think it's like super
thing.
easy to like. I went on there to try and look for the polls. I never saw the polls. I don't know where they're at. Like,
okay, so that could be.
I don't know who's even doing the polls, because like I went onto my Spotify and I was like, how do I want to vote on the poll, because I was gonna write mayonnaise dick was kind of weird.
I think that's kind of like insider trading right there, bud.
Well, yeah, I want to put my thumb on the scale for mayonnaise dick, but I didn't get the ability to. And so far, nobody
pretty big
nobody
betrayal.
thought that was weird. Like they said, nah, it's all good. And then like, I don't even know what that is. And those were the only votes that we have so far.
Imagine somebody didn't get to that part of and they're just like, how do you feel about mayonnaise dick? And they're just like, I don't fucking love it. Like,
do you slather it on? Or?
Right. Is there a comma that was supposed to be there somewhere? I don't fucking know what's going on. All right, guys. So this advice comes from, do they say their name? They don't say their name.
They did, but I took it out for the subject matter. They know who they are. Like,
you know who you are. All right. So the title to this is Broken Life, but Wants Hell in Return. So that is really like the old, like the dear blah, blah, blah comments, because they'll be like sincerely broken hell, but wants life in return. Did you put that or did they put that?
No, that was their title.
Okay, dope. All right. So we're going to get into this one. This is advice from a listener. Oh, that's so cool. The third page is not that long. So it's not
only
like
2 pages.
Yeah, it's
really,
only 2 pages. All right, I'm going to get into it. Broken life, but wants hell in return. Hi, Mike. I just need some advice from a Mike perspective. That is a scary thing to ask. This may be long to explain, but hell, I got nothing better to do with my time anyways. My family was scrapped for day one of birth, and I wish I was over-exaggerating, but even in my story, not sure if I'm under-exaggerating either. My childhood wasn't even a childhood. It was just survival from the moment I woke up to just me sleeping. I live with my grandma and still do, sadly. Now that I have a choice because not that I have a choice because life just gave me crap from the moment I took my first breath. I was poor, and even when I asked for the little things in life, I got told no or even excuses on top of it. While other close family of mine got better things like money, opportunity, and so forth. I went through middle school and high school broken, and I'm still traumatized from the bullying. I was given the sweet release of overwhelmed negativity by graduating so I could finally look for work, which I tried to do so, but it was hard to find new job opportunities and just died every time. There's a lot of grammatical things. We are not going to judge somebody on that. I'm going to judge you internally because it's like I sound like a Neanderthal trying to get
You've done
it.
good.
I just went through puberty right there. Voice cracked.
Welcome to manhood.
Right. Yeah, my balls just dropped. All right. My family forced me to go to college, so I signed up for community college, but that died in the water because of the financial department kept giving me the runaround with different stories. I gave up after the 3rd or 4th conversation. My mind couldn't take it. I went back to working on looking for work. Yes, it's hilarious, but I didn't get paid for looking for work, which I should have since I felt like a goddamn secretary. My family forced me to go back on the college wagon, so out of desperation, just to make my family shut up about the college, I picked automotive. My family felt overjoyed because it's in my close family blood. I hate when people say that. Ain't shit in your family blood. Like, no one's like, oh, you were born to do this. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I went to a tech college for only a year. Thank God for that. My one and only year of tech college was a damn nightmare, but not compared to middle school and high school. But then again, not sure. I messed with chemicals that would every now and then stick to my skin or get under my fingernails. They provided cheap plastic gloves that felt so tiny and thin they could break easily. In parentheses, they put, yes, I could have got gloves for school, but I had no money to my name and nobody wanted to buy me a pair. I also had to do heavy laborious work, which I was not built to do. Transmissions and tires, for example. I even had to deal with car guys that like to overshow their cars and lifestyle work life. I felt so sick of hearing about their lifestyle because their family had connections, resources, and I was out of place because I knew nothing about cars. Didn't know how to drive. My family didn't even bother to help me get my permit and didn't have a car. With that being said, after all the hell I went through in regards to school life, I finished my tech college with no certificate to my name because I got told last minute I need to pay for all of my debt first and then I'll get my certificate. So I went to tech college for nothing. I went in poor and left poor with a huge debt to my name. I was looking for work like crazy since I left tech college and job opportunities were still dead in the water. No matter how I acted in a few job interviews that I even was blessed with, I was told I needed certain certifications they didn't mention before I signed up or needed experience of the job offer even though it was a job. Jesus Christ. I'm trying. Does it sound all right so far?
No, you're doing good, and it was rough. You're reading the words on the page for sure.
After a bit of time passed, COVID-19 happened. It didn't change my job situation for the better or worse. My belly just made it. I hope people could have heard that. Daddy's hungry. All right. Mom, I left the house. Amy's making like steak tips with rice. So the whole house was just, oh God, I can't wait. I can't wait to stop talking to you guys so I could go eat some fucking steak tips. Calm down, man. I'm getting through this. My mom knew I wasn't getting anywhere in the job market. In parentheses, they put I really wasn't. So got me a job opportunity. I was thankful and I passed through training days. However, got the boss that was as sweet during the training period. However, I got a boss that was sweet during the training period, but the boss I got when I officially started working there was an asshole. I had to work one shift for 2 people. I was also experiencing extreme back pain and stomach issues. I explained to my boss I had to leave work early because of my health concerns. My boss gave me a cold look and said, if you aren't better by tomorrow, I don't need you. Stop doing that with the paper. I keep thinking you're going to hit me with it.
I am just waiting for my opportunity.
I quit that very day because I took enough work abuse from my boss. Once my family found out, they talked shit saying I wasn't meant to work and working wasn't meant for me. My mom understood once I explained my experience at the workplace though. Fast forward from that, I have now been in and out of doctor's appointments from 2021 to 2025 for many different health issues that were either family related or from the abuse I suffered from tech college. I also had to go to therapy because of my family life because I just couldn't handle it anymore. I was on the verge of lashing out in a fit of rage and depression. I'm still going to both, and now I discovered I have gallstones that affect my eating and a thyroid issue. I don't even know what the hell is going on. 30 other symptoms that I have no clue about. I have an MRI soon and 2 other very important appointments to check out. I'm in no position to work now until I get these symptoms handled with ASAP. So I've been thinking about taking some serious options in my life to figure out what to do. Now, these are their options. 1, talk to a lawyer and see if I can sue my grandma and family for emotional damages and enforced debt collecting. In parentheses, they put, I still live with my grandma, so that's going to change my living situation forever. The one thing I have to say about that before I start reading the other options is I didn't read no bad things that her grandma did. So,
I mean, they mentioned like having a terrible upbringing, but
yeah, I don't know why my mom's getting sued for though. My mom just sounds like, you know what? If I'm suing everybody, I'm gonna sue you too, bitch. Wait for my last appointment and file for disability, then find a way to live somewhere else so I could go no contact with certain families. 3, wait for my last appointment and talk to my sister that's out of state to see if my options for a better living situation is better over there before I do something out of rage. Mike, I really need someone like you to give me advice, and if you have other options, I'm all ears. I literally can't do anything as of now anyways, but every now and then I see your TikToks to give others advice. Mike, don't sugarcoat anything. I need blunt advice. Maybe you could be my wake-up call to my already broken life. Thank you for seeing my story, even though it was too long, and reading it. Work on that grammar, brother. Punctuation. Throw some of that in there. That would be very nice. Kind of just like proofread it a little bit. Normally, Dylan kind of fixes these stories up. But, so, I'm going to grab the paper again. Just the second one so I could look at the advice. I'm going to tell you something that, I mean, you definitely have to hear. It seems like you are a person that is just seeking to blame everything else in your life instead of taking accountability for where you are at. Look, having a tough childhood is 1 in a million, or not 1 in a million. It's a dime a dozen. What the fuck is the saying?
Yeah, a dime a dozen.
99.9% of people listening to this fucking podcast has had a bad childhood. All right. It's rough. It sucks. I've told you guys plenty of times the shit that I've dealt with in my life. It doesn't matter once you're an adult. Once you are an adult, that is you having to take the reins of your life. I mean, I remember me being a kid and going through all that shit. The one thing I couldn't wait to do was become an adult, because then it's just like, it's fucking me. Like, I'm now the conductor of this train. There's nobody else that could tell me what to do. And that was kind of the liberating thing for me. You, on the other hand, I mean, there are shitty people in anything that you do, like whether it be school, work, family. You can't let that fucking influence your life to, not work, to not go to school, to, shell away from the world. You can't do that. I mean, everything that you described here has an excuse. I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. I'm gonna tell you something that, I mean, a lot of people need to fucking hear, and that it doesn't matter what you can and cannot do because of what. You have to understand, in life, there is no Superman that is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your own life. The only person that can make your life better is you. That's it. And a sugar mama. But I mean, you gotta be looking like this king over here to get one of those. But in all seriousness, like, nobody's coming to fucking save you from your life. It sucks. Stomach issues. Dylan, what's the fucking number one thing I deal with? Yeah. I told you guys, like, Mikey used to do a fuck ton of drugs back when he was a kid. I did not come unscathed, from the shit that happened to me when I was a child, teen, whatever, mentally and physically. Stomach's fucked up. Not like 9 times out of 10, I'm in here. Dylan's like, oh, you need some kombucha? I'll get into like stomach issues on a fucking later day when we have time. But like I said, we got pages to read right now. But even with that, if I sat back and said, hey man, I can't do this because of my stomach issues, or I can't do this because of somebody was mean to me, I would be, fucking poor. I wouldn't have a house. I wouldn't have anything. And I know it does sound shitty that you have to go to these jobs and deal with shitty people. But like I said a couple podcasts ago, you can understand that the system is broken. You can definitely talk shit about the system and how fucking shitty it is. But at the end of the day, if you don't at least fucking play along for a little bit, you're not going to get anywhere. And until you are able to take accountability to say, hey, now you're a grown adult, you have to work. If you want to leave grandma's house, you have to work. You have to get a job. You got to work through shit. And that's 99% of what being an adult is. It's working through the pain, working through the discomfort, working through not being able to see your kids, working through, and it fucking sucks. And I believe it shouldn't be like that. But the fact of the matter is, it's like that. So, and until you are able to say, hey, I'm an adult, I have control over all these things. I mean, it sucks that your stomach hurts, you got gallstones. It's unfortunate. But you have to make your situation better, because, I mean, maybe your sister says you could come live with her and that's a better living situation, but how long is she going to have a grown adult living with her, especially if she has a family? Like, how long is her husband going to want someone staying there? Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I don't think you want somebody to move in that's just, fucking there. And everything that you said about why you couldn't get somewhere in life came with an excuse. And once again, everybody has an excuse not to do things, but you have to look past those excuses. You have to give you have to give yourself an excuse of why you need to do things. Hey, my stomach hurts, but I need to do this so I can move out of my grandma's house. I don't have to see my family. I can have some money. Shit like that. Like, it is unfortunate that, you had a rough upbringing. Everybody has. You just got to stop looking for the excuses and start fucking working on making your life better.
I come from the self-help world of, like, I've read probably 100 self-help books. And the thing is like, when people talk to me about like how put together I am and all these things, like, I worked on it. And that's one of my biggest gripes about anybody is, like, I don't give a shit if you mess up. I don't care at all. Like, that's fine. Everybody messes up. Things don't go right. As soon as you come out because, and this is why, and all this stuff, like, you're no longer taking responsibility that you didn't do the thing. And like, with them, like, everything is a problem that they can't conquer. And no, like, I mean, you could learn how to interact with the shitty boss better, and maybe you keep the job. You could have learned how to make friends at the automotive thing instead of like thinking that you're the outsider. You could, not to be fake or anything, but you could find an interest with anybody. Like, anybody is, unless they're just a complete asshole, but that's not the majority of people. Like, out there, you can you can build those friendships, those relationships, and those actually pay bigger dividends than a lot of other things in life. Like if you know the right people and you talk to one of the automotive guys, he could get you a job somewhere where they don't require the certificate. Like all those things are snowballs that you actually have control over. You don't have control over each individual situation, but you putting a positive spin on it and like looking forward to, like you put in the work to do the thing. Now all you got to do is pay off the debt, find out how to pay off the debt. Now you have the certificate. Like all those things are snowballing against you right now, whereas they could snowball in your favor if you just take accountability. Like Mike said, like that's the key is nobody's going to save you. You have to save yourself. And so like what little thing could you do today to make you better for tomorrow? And like, I understand health issues too, like that happens, but are you going to let it knock you down and take you out and put you on disability for the rest of your life? Like you haven't even entered the workforce and you're already going to get taken out by disability. And I'm not saying like, you know, do a hard laborious job that you can't do, but like there's something out there that you could make your life better just by taking that accountability. Like I'm going to do this, and you fight through some of those hardships and you find your way out. And the key is exactly like Mike said, you can't give an excuse. You got to take accountability. It's on you to make your life what it is.
Right. And I don't want to I don't want to say that shit and it be like, oh, because Mike's the farthest thing you could fucking meet from having, like seeing someone who's put together. I am very sporadic. You guys see that and hear it in the fucking podcast. Like I'm very sporadic. I struggle keeping up with things. But at the end of the day, like, when I tell you, like, I used to be the person that...
Can I tell them about, like, that was a realization you came to just recently?
Right, yeah.
Was, like, Mike was dealing with some issues, and, like, this was the reason he wasn't showing up to work. This was the reason because, you know, the platforms or people or drugs or whatever. Like, there's all these things of why Mike wasn't doing what he was doing. And, like, we were literally talking about it, like, 3 days ago. He's like, until I realized, like, no, I'm not working because I'm not making the concerted effort to do the things I need to be doing. And it's not anybody else stopping me or any other situation stopping me. I'm not showing up. And
right.
That's the biggest thing.
And like showing up, that's a lifetime thing. Like once again, I worked through like, I started off not being the person that was, you know, accountable for their life. I told you guys in previous podcasts when I met Amy, I was doing drugs. I couldn't hold on to a job. And she, you know, didn't want that around her child, our child that was about to be born. And, you know, in that moment, I could have been like, well, you know, it's because, you know, I do these drugs and I had a bad childhood. And then I'd just be sitting there, you know, not being able to see my kid, which once again is 100% the thing to do if your spouse is doing a bunch of drugs like that. Because back then, I was doing like way more than like during my working life when I was taking the fucking tramadol to get through a 12-hour shift. Still, but that's an excuse that I used. Everything was an excuse to not make my life better. And then eventually, you know, I started working, which is crazy because I started working at the box shop. I was in and out of places through like a temp service. And then I got a job there and they told me what the top pay was. Brother, like I went from not working to working just 12 hours, 6-7 days a week immediately. I was just like, we're doing this and we're going to get through it. And that's the big thing too, is just like, think about what you want to become. Cause that ultimately, if you have a goal in mind, that's going to get you to where you need to be. But once again, showing up is showing up every single day because, you know, I got into this point where, you know, I blew up as a content creator. And when you do that too, there's people that want to be around you that are not necessarily good people, that do not care if, you know, they don't care about you. They care about the idea of you or who you represent or the person that you are online. They don't really actually care about you. And hanging with those people, which were a bunch of guys who didn't have jobs, they didn't care about anything. And hanging out with those people, I had fell back into that. I wouldn't even say complacency because I wasn't complacent with it, but I had fell back into I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do as a man, or not even as a man, as a person, the things I needed to do as a person. And everything came with an excuse. I didn't get sleep last night. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. That's why I couldn't come in. And it took, me saying, hey, Like, you're gonna fucking ruin everything if you don't wake the fuck up and just do your fucking job. Like, prioritize your life. You have to have priority in your life. You got to get shit done. And then when things don't get done, you can't say, well, it didn't get done because of this. Because then at the end of the day, your life's still gonna be shit. So that got real fucking serious, man.
Well, one of the things that it's like a cliche. It's like something that people always say, but like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so like, you're the middle person. So if you spend time with people that are all fairly low caliber, or like they don't have anything going for themselves, they don't have any like goals and aspirations, nothing, like they're just existing, you're just going to exist alongside them. Whereas if you surround yourself with some people, like ultimately the people around you should be helping you to push yourself up, to like grow, to become better.
We gotta go hang out with some billionaires then.
Yeah, we do.
But they would want to fuck us because why are they all so weird?
You said 15 million. You know, if did he
15 million, man, that's what I want to ask for comments by, but people can't just like comment on. I would absolutely get fucked up by an oily rich man for $15 million.
On YouTube they can.
On you, bro, YouTube, look.
Make a burner account. You don't even have to like put your name on it.
I think right now though, the platforms that we get like the most like actual engagement on, like right now Spotify's the highest listeners, but they don't do like a lot of commenting, and I guess the polls are hard to find. But Spotify, like YouTube's the number one we have for
which
the
Apple's
engagement.
right up there too though. Like I mean it's
Spotify still beats it out, but like I think ratio wise Apple would be above Spotify, which, you know, fucking shout out to the Apple and the YouTube community. Shout out to the I'm not gonna say fuck the Spotify. I'm just saying, if y'all were falling off a cliff and I can only save 2. Oh, that did get real serious, man. But also, the Sue and the family thing, that's like make-believe land stuff.
Yeah, you're never going to win that.
That's never going to be a...
Especially if they don't have a shit ton of money anyway. Well, and if they do have a shit ton of money, they're going to afford a better lawyer. Like, it's just not going to...
Yeah, they're just going to have it in you fucking limbo until you go broke, which... Unfortunately, you don't have a job, so that would be almost immediately, unless one, took the case pro bono.
Well, and on that though, like I mean, you're gonna ostracize yourself from all of your family, and I get that you had a rough upbringing and everything, but like, you got to take some of the responsibility for. You're probably somewhat guilty for some of the things. I'm not saying like if they were abusive or like verbally abusive or anything like that you deserved any of that, but like, I mean, with your inability to be accountable to yourself, how much of it is kind of on you? Like, you do have to take some of the heat for that.
I agree, because listen, like I said, there's good people and there's bad people in this world. There's also, a negative perspective and a positive perspective. Like, if you have a positive perspective, you're like, okay, well, this person is probably having a shitty day or, whatever. I could tell you have a negative perspective on life because there wasn't an iota of a good thing that's happened in your whole life of existence in that, which, I mean, you don't have to put the good things that happen if you're looking for advice, but still, how do you go from a shitty family to shitty high school, middle school, to shitty tech, to shitty job? I just find that highly implausible unless someone is looking for things that are bad. You're not going to make it through life looking for things that are bad, because ultimately you got to think of life itself. Life ends with death. That death is all around us. People could just sit down and be like, well, we're going to die, so there's no reason to fucking do anything. But then you don't get to live at all. And that ruins the one shot that you have at life.
How many jobs did you bitch about? Every single one of mine I bitched.
Yeah.
There was not a single one.
I bitch about this. Yes. Like, oh God, especially at the end of the whole Mike and Steve thing, I'd just be like, and it's perspective too, because I'd be like, fuck, I don't want to do this, yada, yada, yada. And Dylan would be like, well, would you rather do this or work at a box shop for 12 hours? I was like, fucking, listen, content creators
Let's get to work.
Right, content creators will tell you, they'll be like, oh man, it's just like, no, the fuck it's not. It's not even close. And another thing, like me and Dylan, we will talk about like the money we don't make in content creation and shit like that. We're not saying, hey, please donate to me. Please give me some money.
Up.
Right, yeah.
We're not giving up.
We're not giving up. We're not sitting there looking for Superman. We're not fucking hoping somebody comes to save us. When fucking shit goes bad, we just double the fuck down, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do is, if you're working and it's not working, work harder. There's a point where if you do something long enough and you see no improvement, what do they call that? Insanity?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I can tell, the harder I work, the better things get. So you gotta just, buckle down, bro. Dylan was real scared about me giving this advice because he was thought I was going to be like, man up, pussy. Fucking you gotta fucking work. You gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop fucking complaining so much and just fucking, and do your job. Do your fucking job. Like people listening to the podcast, even if they have, I'm not condoning shitty bosses. I'm not condoning shitty situations. There's only one fucking person that can get you out of that. You're not going to fucking walk out of work one day after it was real shitty and they're going to be like, hello, good sir. Would you like money?
Yeah.
And if that happens to you, absolutely, I don't know. Don't take it because you might get, like I said, you might get diddied. And if you've already settled in your mind, you're okay with that, go for it. But nobody's coming to fucking to rescue you. And that's when I first started the Mike and Steve shit, I got a lot of like I said, capitalism is bad. The corporate world is bad. So I'm just not going to do anything. Never in all my years of content creation have I said, fucking, you should not work because the system sucks. I'm like, you could tell it like it is. You can complain about how things work, but you got to do it. Like, especially if you have a family, you 100% have to do it. If you ain't got a family and you don't like you don't like capitalism or, a warm place to sleep at night, fuck it. Don't work. You know what I'm saying?
You can live on a commune and just.
Right. But don't look for other people that are doing it to fucking put you up while you choose not to do that shit.
Yeah.
It's been a long stance of mine.
That's the hard thing though, is like, and this is the same thing that we always get into is like, neither of the outskirts are the solution. Like it's literally, yes, the system's broken. Yes, it sucks, but like you still have to like be in it to like survive.
Right.
And then we can make things better, but you don't have to go to one extreme or the other, like where it's just unbridled, like corporate America gets to run everything, or like, oh, we shouldn't work at all and like we should all just be able to, go to the beach and have fun on somebody else's time. Like neither of those are right, but like that's the fight that everybody has. And it's like, no, like we should just work and be able to have a life of some sort, like this work-life balance that doesn't exist either. But
that's what I'm saying. Like people should be able to work 40 hours a week, and that should be enough to take care of your family. Yes. That should be enough to cover the cost of living.
Roof over your head, food in your belly.
Yep. For the people who want to they want more, that's where the overtime is supposed to get you. That's where you'll be like, well, when I was a kid, I worked 70 hours a week so I could afford, a house and shit. It's not like that anymore. Now you're working 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week so you can fucking live. And to get ahead is extremely difficult. I believe that, anybody working 40 hours a week, you should be able to take care of your family. Anybody working 70 hours a week, you should be able to fucking get ahead. I will say the system is fucked up in that way. I will also say in that same breath, I will never condone being a bum at all. Like we have a society that you should contribute to. Like you should wake up every day wanting to contribute. I say this and people are going to be like, well, what the fuck do you contribute? I contributed for a long motherfucking time. And I was like, hey, there's this avenue that I could take, which I even tell you guys is not proven lucrative. It has been a financial strain, but I do it. I fucking wake up and try to do it every day so that I can make something out of it. If it turns out to be something, awesome. If it doesn't turn out to be anything, guess what? I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, entertainment didn't work, so can I live with you, Grandma? Which she definitely would, but you've seen my grandma's place.
And you can just do that, but like you're not going to be like, well, the system was stacked against me. No, it's just like you tried like hell and it didn't work. Like it's not that somebody kicked you in the dick.
Right,
it's
like
just
when our videos don't do well, you could sit there and be like, well, it's the platform. That's what you see. That's what you see all the time. Somebody will pop off on social media and then they'll be like, the algorithm's working against me, and the whole time they're telling you that video while they're in a dark room with like a fan going in the background, like, why are people watching? That's what the audio said. Why are people watching my videos?
It's just like they're bitching and moaning, and like unless there's like drama in there. Mike and Dylan hate drama. People love drama, and like if there's not any sort of story or anything in there, no, people aren't going to sit there and listen to you complain.
Yeah, like, give me something fucking good. Tell me how they're fucking, how the deck's stacked. Don't just say the deck's stacked against you. Give me some fucking proof. Like we shoot something, it does shitty. I'm like, it fucking sucked. Like it fucking sucked. It was not good. And
some of our best stuff, like in my opinion,
that we liked,
performed so terribly.
And that's because people saw it and they didn't like it.
But we didn't quit and be like, oh, well, this isn't working. Like we change it up and mix it up and try to come up with new things that might make people like it, but we don't just like be like, oh, the platforms are terrible, they're kicking our ass, blah blah blah. We give up. No, you just keep going.
And once again, we want to say this is the official Mike and Dylan statement. This is what is their stance on the matter. We understand the system fucking sucks and that it absolutely needs to change. And that you should be able to fucking feed your family on 40 hours a week. Any more than that, that's what gets you a Ford F-150, baby. All right? I want a Ford F-150. I want a motherfucking beach house. That's what, overtime should be. It should be able to get you farther, get you to be able to do the things that you want, not necessarily the things that you need. And in the same breath, also say, I have never once in my life said it's okay to not work. And then, to have that standpoint that, everything's fucked up, so I choose not to partake in it, and then live at your mom and dad's house where your dad's got to wake up every day and go partake in that system. That is not cool either. So, I would say give us some fucking feedback, just a fucking morsel, guys. God damn. Because I was going to say, hey, let me know what you think. Nobody will let me know what they think. No,
give us timestamps. Be like, I hate at minute 26. You said this. This is terrible.
There's someone listening like, I would, man. I can't find it. Like, fucking Jesus.
Spotify sucks.
They just hide it, man. They hide it. You can go to mikeanddylan.com and fucking...
Yeah, you can throw it in the
Let us
website.
know. And that's in all the descriptions. I don't know how hard that is to find. Like, 'cause I don't watch podcasts. I've seen Joe Rogan clips. All right. I've seen some Theo Von clips. I think that's it. That's pretty much my whole experience. Like, I was like, do I talk to the listeners during this? Do I not talk to them? I didn't know what to do. And then I just did whatever felt comfortable. So this is what they get.
Which is just talk the whole time and not give me a word edgewise.
I didn't do that during the story. And he was like, yeah, but I was like, I didn't know how to. And I was like, well, sometimes they like a story. And then I watched it back and I was like, that was a little bit rough. That was a little bit
You
rough.
did a couple like side tangents, but yeah, I think we're ready for it. This one is gold. I love this story.
Look, this story. I thought you said this podcast was gold. I was like, I think some people are not going to like that. And we got real serious too.
Oh no, I think it was great. I think that's why I wanted to end on the high note.
Yeah, but all
comedy.
the podcasts I see, man, people are just fucking, they're over exaggerating. God damn it, he fucking, like at the opening of a joke or like anytime, Dylan's like, find good clips of the podcast we could put on like the clip section of the podcast places. And I'm like, we have no clips like that. Like even when something really funny happens, slight chuckle for me and Dylan. All right. Like you got to be real fucking funny to get, like I am a man who finds humor and accidental funny.
I don't think we're a funny podcast. Like I definitely think we have humor like tied in, but I think it's the realness that actually is getting people to want to come back and watch more.
If they left some motherfucking feedback, I'd know. I'd be like, oh, maybe I don't have to be so. Like I said, especially when I don't have sleep, and like I had no sleep, and I saw where we were at on and I felt intimidated. I'm not gonna lie, I felt intimidated. You got fucking Amy Poehler there, Joe Rogan, Theo Von, all this. Steve Harvey was underneath us. I was like, what the fuck is that? This is a fluke, obviously, of Steve Harvey. Have you seen that man smile? That mustache. Yeah, God, don't let anything real nasty come out about Steve Harvey, please. God, like, don't ruin it all for me. Fuck my childhood, though, man. Everything. Yeah, I think everything from the childhood's been ruined. And Nickelodeon and... Well, I'd love to do a funny take on that. I'm not gonna. No. I'm not gonna.
This one's great.
All right, so this is the Am I the Asshole?
And this is submitted by a listener. So this is not one that we found on Reddit. This is legitimately
I think this one's literally on Reddit, though. I think they just submitted an Am I the Asshole for us to read.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because this is great.
I remember some of this. So if it is on Reddit, I mean, I skimmed through I haven't read this one. I skimmed through it. But what it's about is...
Another one?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to have to do some research now. I just thought it was a listener because they submitted it. I mean, I guess that's fine if you want to
YouTube will let us know. Like the YouTube viewers,
yeah,
they'll let us know if it's... Because a lot of them come from the Am I the Asshole things. So, do you know Smosh does an Am I the Asshole fucking... I wish somebody would have told me that.
We're good.
I'm so glad we didn't name it like anything that had to do with like Mike and Dylan. Am I the Asshole? Fucking Smosh, man. Why can't, that's who we're surrounded by, Smosh. Smosh fucking the YouTube guys from back in the day. They had like the real funny Pokemon skits and shit like that. And I'm like, fuck, they're doing the same fucking thing we're doing.
Are we doing the same thing they're doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're doing the same thing that they did at first. Like they got a fucking podcast that goes back. And I'm just like, man, like why would people choose us over Smosh? And like at first I had like that, like, oh man, like maybe I need to like ham it up.
No.
But it's just like, man, just be real. And then Some people will fuck with you. Not as many as Smosh, though. God damn, I seen their reviews. Their listeners love putting down. They love getting feedback. Fucking Smosh, man. Fuck them. I loved them when I was a kid, though.
I never saw them.
Yeah, well, that was my time period. Them and fucking Whitest Kids You Know.
Whitest Kids You Know was me. Like,
and then the guy from that passed away. That guy, they were fucking great. Yeah, Trevor. Fucking amazing. God rest his soul. Am I the asshole for covering my ex's belongings in turds? Is this the one I looked at?
Yeah, it's the one that they submitted. That's great.
Oh, I have not looked at this one.
It's so great.
Okay. Never mind. A while back ago, I was in a rather abusive relationship with a girl who had horrible insecurities. We dated for a whole year and a half, and after that, she moved in with me in my place in Texas. The first 6 months were some of the best moments of my life, but everything changed when she moved in with me. It's like before she moved in, great time. Then she moved in. That's women, bro. She was like, man, it's really, really nice here. I will change everything. That's like, as soon as women come in. She was constantly jealous of me talking to other women. It went to such extremes as not being able to get groceries because of the girl behind the counter, listening to music with a female singer, or just talking to girls I shared blood with, like my sister.
That's weird.
Yeah, she's humping other people, bro. People with insecurities like that, they are projecting.
See, I never thought that. Like, I had a girl that was like super insecure, and I mean, I never.
Oh,
knew
yeah, she was
that
getting them cheeks clapped behind a dumpster at fucking Denny's.
Be.
God bless America. To her, they were risks, which made no sense to me whatsoever. Honestly, anything women say don't make. I'm just like, bro, what? I constantly told her how beautiful she was and how she was the only girl for me. To her credit, despite how crazy or insecure she was very attractive, and that's why
you turn up the crazy dial as the attractiveness.
Remember the person that made the graph about like how attractive a woman is to how crazy, like how you deal with it. When she moved in, she brought along her cat, Pouncer. Pouncer lived up to his name because he jumped on everything and constantly broke things. I hated this cat. More often than not, my girlfriend and I would argue, and it would often get violent. I don't mean I put my hands on her. God, thank you for clarifying that. She knew I couldn't fight back, so she continuously would slap and or punch me. One night, my mom came over and she got a good look at me and was obviously displeased. When she saw my girlfriend next, she let her know what she thought of the whole situation, and my girlfriend responded by trying to hit her and calling her a bitch. Oh my God. Brother, she was laying it down on him though. He couldn't see it. He couldn't see it the whole time. He was blind. He was like, well, she's just, she's a little aggressive. Yeah. But
the sex.
Yeah. Oh. It's just like, the mom's just like, why are you with her? She's like hitting you, and she's like real crazy. Won't let
you should see this thing she does.
Yeah, like she'll be so, and then she'll like stick a pinky in. And it's like, it's completely changed my life. That was the last straw for me. I told her it was over, and I was no longer putting up with this crap. She didn't hesitate. She was out the door in a heartbeat, only saying that she would be back sometime to get her stuff. Months went by, and her stuff was there and was still there, including her cat Pouncer, who hated me as much as I hated him. Despite me using my money to buy him food and clean his litter, which is something she didn't do the entire time she was gone. After almost 3 months, I gave her a call. I told her she needed to get her stuff or I was tossing it. She understood and was polite and told me she was going to swing by after work to get her stuff. Look, man, I can't wait till I get rid of this fucking mustache and beard. I got to trim it down or something. I keep doing this. I can't. And then when I do this, it tickles my nose, and then I have to rub it. I fucking hate having a beard. But right now, I'm pretty fat. I got to lose a little bit more. I got the little gullet, the gullet going on. So the beard's really good at hiding the gullet. She understood and was polite and told me she was going to swing by after work to get her stuff. I told her to help her out. I would just move all of her stuff onto the porch so it'll be boxed and easily moved. She thanked me and hung up. I immediately started packing her things. At this point, I also realized I should dump the litter because it had been a minute since I had changed it. As soon as I was about to do that, I noticed a piece of paper on the ground. This is where I did something wrong. My ex had written her Facebook details on this piece of paper, and it got the better of me. I logged into her account and snooped so hard. It was already over.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to at that point. Like, just it was right there in front of him. At least,
Right.
what's she up to these days?
I used to be like that type of person, the person that was like real insecure in their relationship.
Yeah.
But also I came from, and I'm not making excuses. You shouldn't be that person. Like, you should fucking trust someone.
Yeah.
It's not their fucking fault that you're a fucked up little dumpster case that, you know, like you have these things wrong with you. It's not their fault. That's something that you need to work on. But I was that person. Like, everybody I had came from fucking failed or betrayed me. So then, you know, that like fucking growing up, I wasn't getting into relationships like that because I was just like, I had it in my mind that all people were bad.
Yeah.
And it took some time when I got with Amy to realize, like, hey, there are other people out there other than shit stains.
Well, and it's hard to, like, it's human nature to think people are
Right, just like
screwing you over.
Right,
And
especially like when you come from that too. And me and Dylan will meet people too, and I'll just be like, I don't trust that guy.
Oh yeah, no, like he has like a spidey sense. I have a really good sense with that too, but it was weird. Like, there's certain people that might, like, I'm not cool with them. Like, I don't expect them to be like a person that's in my life, but like Mike will be like, that guy's a pedo. And sure enough, little internet sleuthing, and it's like, yeah, convicted of sex crimes or something.
I don't
was
understand
like,
what's wrong with it, man. I can fucking look at somebody, I don't know what it is. People will be like, the empath memes.
Yeah.
And I always used to joke on those people. Like, I love the meme where like the guy's on fire and an empath will be like, I just sense that guy is hurting. I am really good at being like, that person's not good. It's just like when you talk to somebody too, like if they can, you know, make eye contact, and generally there's just like things where someone comes off as a normal person, but there's other people that just like, I don't know, their body languages are great. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe I'm gay. I don't know.
See, it's wild because like I'm better at that, like when like it's somebody that I care about, like, and they're surrounding themselves with them. Like, multiple times I've told my sister, I'm like, that person's no. And then like a year later, she's like, that person was a piece of shit. And I was like, yeah, I told you from like the minute that I met them that they were a piece of shit. And you were like, no, they're a cool friend or, you know, boyfriend. And I was like, no, one of her last boyfriends, she's like, you like him, right? I was like, no, not since the moment I met him. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, it's not my place. It's like, if you're in a romantic relationship with somebody, like, I'm not gonna like shit on them because like you're in love or whatever. Like, it's not my place to like jade them in your eyes. But like, no, I never liked them from day one.
Yeah, but Sunday when you came in, and like as soon as I was like, oh, what's eating you, bud? And he was like, oh, nothing. I was like, oh no, you're having a bad day. Like, especially people I hang around, I can immediately tell that, which sucks too, because, you know, I'm well aware of my wife's attitude at all times during the day. So I know when she talks to me that there is something wrong. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck, I got to go down the whole list of like Michael things. I got to think back to what I've done for the past 11 years and see what's bothering her today. I love you, baby girl. So he gets onto her little account. I logged in to her account and snooped so hard. All of it was pretty harmless, except for one message conversation. I discovered that since before she had moved in with me, she had been heavily cheating on me with this tattoo artist. Was she at least getting free tattoos? Because I want tattoos. They are expensive.
So expensive.
So, God, ungodly expensive. And Justin, or what was that one guy I met?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, Justin. That dude is so fucking dope. So he's very, very well deserving. Like, I'm not saying like, oh God, his prices are so outrageous. He's fucking like the best. What's their little thing called? So I can just fucking shout him out. Like, I
can't remember the name.
He's a cool dude.
American Heritage. Yeah, Justin Sams or something like that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Fucking dope. I'm gonna look it up before the podcast is over so I can give the. Oh yeah, just go. Yeah, reset it. Dylan's going to reset the camera, so I will. He just hit his head on a light. That's the shit I like. That's what tickles me. I don't like I don't like people who try to be funny. All right, I just like things that like the fart at the Billie Eilish concert. Great. I literally almost died during that. If I'd have saw that on the podcast, I would have had that kind of reaction, but it'd have been real. And the real, like with me, is I can't fucking breathe, and you would be like, oh, Mike's about to fucking have a heart attack. So what's his name?
Justin Sams.
Oh, yes, he got it right. We're friends on Facebook now, too.
Yeah.
I be seeing his shit all the time. He'd be like, oh, if you're looking for an appointment, book now, or I'll be booked up until fucking, and he is just like booked.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, brother, whenever I get some money, I have to allot that to like bills and shit, but then if I get money after that, maybe.
I just love the advancements in tattoos because they're so much cooler than they used to be. Like,
right, yeah, like back in the day. Imagine back in the day when you just get like the little crows and shit.
I got a Tasmanian devil right here in my arm.
Maybe they've always been that good. It's just where we grew up, like in the smaller towns, where it's like, fuck, we ain't got one of them big tattoo artists. But Ricky over there, he went to prison, and he can lay down a mean one with a fucking sewing needle and some ink.
Well, I think like Japanese and stuff was a cool style, but like the hyper realism and stuff, I don't think that's a very recent like.
We need to do rewards with the listeners, like, because they've seen like some of my bad tattoos. They have not even seen. My brother wanted to be a tattoo artist, okay, and I was like 16. I've not gotten a tattoo since I was 16 years old, and I have 5 of them. So that just tells you the quality of them. I think like we need to do little goals. Like I said, like when we get to fucking 1 million people who listen to the podcast, we could do the whole like a 3-part mic series that goes through my fucking life, because people want that too. And I'm just like, that's a lot of time I have to devote to that, because I got to like fucking write everything down to make sure I stay on course, and it's going to be fucking impossible.
Those will be solo episodes.
Right.
I won't be here for those.
No, he'll be here. He'll be like the famous interview person. I don't know.
I'll have headphones on over at the computer editing and just let Mike tirade for you guys for like 3 hours at a time.
Right. You have to be here to rein me in, or people are gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But we should do one where I just like show off the tattoos and like tell the story
I've
behind
got
them.
shitty tattoos too.
There's a couple of them that have real funny fucking stories behind them. Jesus Christ, the life I lived. Glad I got out. It was because she had been doing it to me, so she was, of course, suspicious that I could be doing it to her. Called it. I called her back immediately, and the conversation did not go very well. I asked her if she had cheated on me while we were together. I added that if she was honest and had just apologized with me, I would not destroy her belongings. I played dumb, and I asked again, only this time letting her know that I was looking at the evidence in front of me, and I know for a fact that she did. I told her, you have one chance to make it right and apologize. That's really all I wanted, but her response was, you're fucking insane. I responded back, wrong answer, and hung up. All of her things on the porch ended up in a pile on my front lawn. I was actually going to set it all on fire, but I knew my neighbors wouldn't like it. But as fate would have it, inspiration struck me in the form of a text message from my ex saying, I want something to remember Pouncer by. Why don't you just give her the fucking cat? I was flabbergasted. She didn't want her cat back, just something to remember him by. Well, she was in luck because I had something. I dumped his nasty litter all over her stuff. Ugh, and then I got the water hose and hosed it all down to make sure it activated the smell of old turd. Making sure it was really made in its way, or its way in. Really making sure it made. You got to let it seep in there.
Yeah.
I remember I had broken up with a girl. And this is back right. I dropped out my senior year of high school, and then I went to like a technical school, and I got my adult high school diploma. And I remember I had the diploma and some clothes at her house, and her mom really fucking hated me. So when we broke up, she put all my stuff in the front yard and fucking set it on fire. Her and the mom just did like a little fucking Native American dance around it.
Seance.
Yeah, fucking. Which I mean, listen, I didn't care. Like I was like, I don't fucking no job I ever went to was like, we really need to like visually look.
We need
at
to see the diploma,
like me half-ass if I was in a job interview. That's another tip I should have gave the guy during the job interview is you got to have that. I don't know. You have to kind of display some arrogance about your skills in a job interview. You can't just be sitting there like, oh, well, yeah, you gotta, like, you fucking want me. You want a job. Like, you have an opening. You need a position filled. All right. And you are laying that on me. That's how I always handled it. You can ask me from like fucking when I was like shit at work, bro. If I had an interview, that 100% meant I got the job. Because I just go in there like, yeah, you fucking want me. And then they come to find out, no, they didn't. They was like, fuck, no. Maybe that's what, maybe they're like, don't act like that, because we've had guys like that before. They just left. God, I had some terrible jobs in my life. Then God shined his light once more by making it snow during spring in Texas. That's the Lord right there. He works in mysterious ways. It took less than an hour for a poop-ridden pile of her belongings to become completely frozen. I took a picture and sent it to her. She saw it but never did respond. An hour later, she showed up at my house with a sheriff deputy following her. Seems like she called the law on me. I would, yes, it does seem like that. I'm an empath. I feel like she did possibly call the cops. Oh, there we go. I do a lot of work for the county, so this particular deputy was a good friend of mine. She didn't know this. When he saw the pile of her belongings, he couldn't help but snicker, looking at her and asking, what did you do? It got a good chuckle out of me as well. I explained that technically it was all mine due to the fact that she refused to come get it in a timely manner. The deputy agreed, but given the circumstance of her stuff being covered in turds, told her that she had till the end of the following day to get what she wanted from the pile, if she wanted anything, that was. They left the next day, or they left They left, and the next day I saw my ex with none other than the tattoo artist guy she cheated on me with. I sat on the porch with a beer in one hand and her cat in the other, just watching them dig through frozen cat turds to get her stuff. The gagging sounds they made really made my experience more memorable. Pouncer and I worked on the relationship, but we continued to not work out well. I found a nice lady looking to adopt a cat online. She gave him a good home. I know I'm not like a hero in this story, but am I the asshole for covering my ex's stuff in turds?
You're my hero.
Yeah, you are definitely not the asshole. But once again, I don't like, people will be like, well, it's like the Schrodinger's cheating. Like, until you look at her Facebook and stuff like that, which is private, it's her stuff. You wouldn't know. I don't know how to answer people.
Well, they're done. They're separated. Like,
right at that point, you just fucking off. Like, this is I don't owe nothing to this bitch now.
No,
if I got your name and password, also, I'm gonna be like, fuck, man, I really miss him. Like, in words that, I'm not putting that on there. But so he doesn't owe you anything. Once again, no matter how you answer that question, it's going to be different. Usually the cheaters are going to be like, no, your stuff is a secret. Like, my wife knows the fucking code of my phone and shit like that, because...
But she doesn't have to go through it, because
unfortunately,
she
I just don't have the bitches hitting me up, too, so...
yeah, but those dudes that are in there.
Right, yeah, the dudes that are in there. And how depressing would that be, too, to, like, go on your husband's shit and... not only see that he's trying to talk to women, but they're just like rejecting, like, ooh, get the fuck out of here. Just like, that'd be sad. That'd be sad, but definitely not the asshole. But you will have people that'll be like, oh, it's her. Then those are the people that's like, oh, I don't want you going through my shit.
Well, he's been holding on to her shit for 3 months. Like, I mean, he technically, and he stumbled upon that. Like, if he like was spending his time trying to like hack her, like she left her laptop there and he's guessing passwords and shit. Yeah, that gets a little bit over the line. But you left that shit just as a piece of paper. Like, I'm sorry, after 3 months, yeah. I'm not saying I would necessarily.
Right, you got to dig through frozen cat turd mountain. Honestly, he told her to leave, right? Yeah. He broke up with her
after the big fight, and like she tried to fight his mom. Yeah,
I wouldn't even care at that, but I just give her a shit. Like, I'm just like glad this thing's out of my fucking life.
I love the little.
How long were they together for? Did it say?
I don't know.
Fuck. They dated for a whole year and a half. We dated for a whole year and a half. After half of that time, she moved to, so it was a year and a half total. Yes, a year and a half of my life you were wasting anyways, because you was fucking other people, and then you made our relationship more terrible by accusing me of fucking other people while you was out fucking other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a couple cat turds, soak it in a little bit, freeze it.
The funny thing is I had
to give it to the next person.
I had to add S's because he kept saying turd, and I was like, nah, dog, like there's more than one turd in a cat box. Like, it's multiple turds. Like, he's like, I covered it in cat turd. And I'm like, nah, dude, like that's just like one right big cat turd.
Like, talk to any of the old people in the South and they'll be like, they don't put S's behind anything. And they'll be like, the year was 1906, or, and I'll be like, fucking, it was 1906. They don't say O's and they don't say S's. Yep.
Country.
Yep, the country. Some of Papa did it, but once again, Papa was a weird guy, so maybe not every old person's like that. I don't meet a lot of old people. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just, because of the neck tattoo. Yeah. Fucking the neck tattoo. I remember that was because I had just got really, really fucked up, and my brother didn't do this one. This one was actually from a tattoo artist guy named Jonathan. Me and him ended up getting into a big fight in the trailer park we lived at, but I got real drunk and he was doing tattoos for free, obviously. You get what you pay for. And my brother was like, you know what, like, is a really cool word? And I'm like, what? Because I'm drunk too. This is why I don't fucking drink. You make stupid decisions on it. And he's like, fate. And I'm just like, fuck yeah. Nobody's going to misread that as like fatty or fats or none of that shit. And I should put it directly on my neck. So anybody I talk to will immediately know this guy is not professional at all. Look, I've seen professional people with tattoos. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you have a prison tattoo on your neck and have never been to prison, I went to jail for 30 days for not snitching. I'll get into that story on a later podcast too. I like to give people the tidbits.
Yeah, now people are going to be asking for that.
I give people the tidbits. We'll go into that. That'll go into the saga between me and my brother. I love him. He's done a lot of fucked up things. He just, look, that's between him and God, but fuck it. But I think this is a good point to wrap it up because this is a pretty long episode, guys. Like I said, once again, let us know what you think or fucking don't. God damn it. And, you know, share it with a friend, man. Tell them, hey, you know, there's these two guys that are sometimes funny if you have, you know, fucking had a really terrible life and you can find humor in the little things and come fucking, you know, watch them struggle through a fucking story.
And also make sure to include in that share when you're sharing it to them that they love Satan if they do not pass it on to somebody else.
You got to tell them, share if you love God. That's the last thing. If they're like, oh, I'm not interested in that, you're like, well, you got to share if you love Jesus. Because if you don't share, you loves the devil.
Yep.
And you want to go to a Diddy party for free. Later, guys.
Later.